Madam Amit, today we are going to deal with security of payments. It is very clear that the construction industry is famous for all kinds of problems such as, but not limited to, claims, disputes, cost and time overruns, etc. Non-payment or delayed payment has always played an important role for such difficulties. In most cases, the contractor payments are generally well defined in the conditions of contract, whereas the others who are also involved in the construction industry, such as subcontractors, material suppliers, and others who do substantial portion of the constructions, and their payments are not well defined. For the last 30 years, subcontractor lobby groups in Australia have been seeking security for the payment of subcontractors. As a result, various pieces of legislation have been enacted in several Australian states and New Zealand. Security of payment refers to any system designed to ensure that the contractors or subcontractors and material suppliers are paid even in the case of a dispute. This can involve a system of progress payments, interim arbitration decisions, or a system which legally requires a company to pay an invoice within a set number of days, regardless of whether the company believes they are accurate or not. The Security of Payment Act provides a fast, low-cost debt recovery process that empowers the subcontractors, contractors, suppliers, and consultants. It ensures continuity of payment to any person who undertakes to carry out construction industry work under an industry contract. Several developed countries have adopted security payment legislation. The term security payment refers to the legislative intervention that provides rights to payment and adjudication. In the United Kingdom introduced this legislation, first followed by the New South Wales state in Australia. These two are arguably the leading models of this legislation. The trend has been followed in New Zealand and other states and territories of Australia. For example, Victoria, Queensland, Northern Territory and Western Australia. The Isles of Man and Singapore, except for New Zealand, which is a hybrid of the UK and New South Wales Acts, the regime in each jurisdiction closely follows either the UK or the NWS model, no South Wales model. There are two types of regimes that are currently in place, which are adjudication independent of payment and adjudication related to payment. It should be noted that this is a relatively new subject in the construction industry without any international standards, and still researches are being carried out for the improvement of the system. The ambit of regimes is different, covering certain types of contracts and excluding some others. The scope and application of the payment adjudication machineries are essentially different from one jurisdiction to another. Similarly, enforcement options are also dissimilar. For example, the UK Act excludes supply of goods contracts from its constituency, whereas New South Wales and ST Acts include them. The scope and application of payment and adjudication machineries are essentially different from one jurisdiction to another. For example, UK Act imposes a non-prescriptive payment mechanism, whereas in New South Wales, New Zealand and ST Acts provide prescriptive payment mechanism. Similarly, enforcement options are also dissimilar. For example, the UK Act only provides the right to suspend the work or supply, apart from the right to refer a dispute to adjudication in the event of non-performance of payment terms. The New South Wales Act and New Zealand Acts, on the other hand, on top of those two rights afford the right to lien and the right to charging others respectively. Despite their differences, all these regimes fundamentally have a similar objective, that is to facilitate payment and improve the cash flow within the construction industry. The New Zealand and Singapore Acts have regularly improved some of the questionable features of the UK and New South Wales Acts. Furthermore, the Singapore Act has included some distinct features that are unique in its construction industry. The provision of requiring the parties to attempt to resolve their dispute within the dispute settlement period is currently non-existent in the rest of the jurisdictions. A few other countries are also contemplating to introduce a similar legislation in order to improve their construction industry. How the Act works in Australia. The Act is governed by separate state and territory legislations. This means that any application of Act needs to be considered in reference to a certain current Building and Construction Industry Security Payment Act, applying to the state or territory where the action to be undertaken. The acts are readily available on state and territory legislation websites. The process of applying the Act is similar to all states and territories. However, there are differences which can be seen by comparing the samples of Educate Today flowcharts available for the different states. For example, with the New South Wales Building and Construction Industry Security Payment Act 1999, number 46 for architects. Architect chasing payment. Builders chasing payment where the architect is the superintendent. Consultant chasing payment where engaged by the architect. The following steps are given as a guide for the ACT for Victoria, South Australia and New South Wales. Step 1. Application for the Act. Firstly, identify if the invoice or claim is issued under the Building and Construction Industry Security of Payment Act, or if the contract allows the action under the Act. Secondly, obtain a copy of the Act for the applicable state or territory from the relevant state registration website. The Act sets out a procedure for recovering outstanding progress payment. Determine if the Act is applicable. To be able to use the Act, the following conditions must be met. A construction contract is in place within the meaning of the Security of the Payment Act. The work has been completed in accordance with the contract and is defect free. Step 2, first notice. Step 3, second notice. Step 4, entitlement to payment under the Act. Step 5, adjudication application. Step 6, selecting an authorized nominating authority, adjudicator. Step 7, the adjudication process. Legal precedent. No reference date, no valid payment claims under New South Wales Security Payment Acts, says the High Court. The High Court of Australia unanimously held that the existence of a reference date is a precondition of making valid payment under the Building and Construction Industry Security Payment Act, New South Wales 1991 SOP Act. Any purported adjudication determination consequent upon on invalid payment claim would be void and in no effect. The decision of Southern Hand Breakfast Point Private Limited versus Lawrence Construction Private Limited highlights the importance of including express provision in contract dealing with critical issues such as when reference date will arise, whether the different dates will continue to arise following the termination of the contract, and when the right to payment under the contract may be suspended.